Hello and welcome to another episode of this tournament. Today we have Goblin Big Hero 6 seed 12 against Tornado Time Travelers seed 21. I gave Goblin Big Hero 6 a very low seed because with Baymax and 3 blasters you can keep a lot of power counters in play. However, in this particular matchup I think that Time Traveler Tornadoes can be very dangerous for them as they can move their very high powered minions and also use Into the Time Slip to return a very high powered minion to their hand. So Time Traveler Tornadoes are going to start off with Time Raider on Crystal Fortress. Of course their Titan also gets a counter, and with that they will just end their turn. So we go to Big Hero 6 Goblins. They have a good opening hand with already 2 blasters. Let's just move this to the correct side. They will start with Hero Hamada. Hero can place a power counter on himself, and the plan here is to later transfer these counters to a blaster. For now they will also draw 2 cards to end their turn. Time Traveler Tornadoes are going to play another Time Raider on Crystal Fortress. There are no cards in the discard pile, but we can also place a counter on Time Box, of course. And then end our turn. No minions. Alright, so we place another counter on Hero. And then we play Microbot Swarm, who can also place a power counter on himself. And then next turn we will play Blaster, probably. Alright, so Tornado Time Travelers has no minions. They will just place a counter on Time Box and then play Stasis Field, so the base cannot be scored on our opponent's next turn. And unfortunately we only drew a jumper, so it's gonna be hard for us to win. Alright, so we place a power counter on Microbot Swarm. We play Blaster. And then we transfer the power counters from Hero to Blaster. So the intention is not to score the base, but just to make a powerful Blaster. And hopefully we can move him to another base before the base scores. We will also play Goblin Recruiters, a very strong card. Back to Tornado Time Travelers. Stasis Field gets destroyed. We place a counter on our Titan. And then we will play Carried Away to move Hero. And we are trying to score Crystal Fortress here. This way our opponent cannot move Blaster to another base. And we also prevent Hero and Microbot Swarm from accumulating more power counters. So they will flip a coin for Blaster. It's heads, so he gets 2 more power. And that just means that they still win the base. And they will also draw a card with Goblin Recruiters. And then everything gets discarded, but Time Traveler Tornadoes can use Gone with the Wind to move a minion off the base. The reason I'm using this on a minion that's not that strong in particular is because we can use Repeater Perfect or other cards to get Gone with the Wind back in our deck. And by moving a minion we also trigger the condition to play category 5. At this point I prefer this Titan because I don't think this combo cares a lot about extra actions from Time Box, and they only care about playing extra power 2 minions if they have a few of them in hand, which is not the case at this point. So the new base is Training Camp, and we will draw 2 cards to end our turn. We have Time Walk. Back to Goblin Big Hero 6. They will play a blaster on training camp, trying to get him very high powered. And then just draw 2 cards. So first of all, Time Traveler Tornadoes are going to place a power counter on category 5 with the talent, use their minion play to play Jumper on training camp, and then Nothing Kansas to get rid of the very strong action from the Goblins and also get a new base. It's Arundel. Then they draw 2 to end their turn. Goblin Big Hero 6 are going to play a Diviner on Arundel. Look at the top 2 cards and draw 1. They will discard Gobo and draw Honey Lemon, very strong minion. And then as their action play, he Smelt it. Well, first of all, Blaster gets a counter from the base. And then we use he Smelt it, we flip the coin, it's heads, so we get a counter. And we also draw a card from Diviner. Then we flip again for Diviner. It steals. Let's just leave it like this and draw 2 cards, because I don't really see the point of playing another action here. We discard 1. So first of all, Jumper gets a power counter. Then we play Time Walk. So we get another minion and action play. We draw 2 cards. Time Walk goes to the bottom. And then we'll play into the Time Slip. Return Blaster to the hand. We really try to avoid our opponent getting a very strong Blaster. We will play Dust Devil with our first minion play. We look at the top 2 cards. Of course, we draw Monster Tornado and discard Wormhole. With our second minion play, we play Repeater Perfect to place Gone with the Wind on top of our deck. And then our Titan gets a power counter. We draw 2. So Goblin Big Hero 6 is going to play a little help. They flip a coin. It's heads, so we get an extra minion play. We also draw a card. And then we play Blaster again and Microbot Swarm. Microbot Swarm gets a power counter, and he can search or discard pile for another copy of Microbot Swarm. And then we draw 2 cards. Discarding Revving Up, as well as a Gobbo. So now Time Traveler Tornadoes are first going to place a power counter on Jumper. After that, they play Monster Tornado on Training Camp. They use the talent to move Diviner to that base as well. And then they can move their Titan over to score the base. So Blaster triggers, flip a coin, tails, so we can move Blaster away. First we draw a card with Diviner, And then we move Blaster to Arundel. And then we score the base. Then, of course, Time Traveler Tornadoes are going to play Gone with the Wind to move Monster Tornado to the deep. He also gets a counter from the Titan. Then we discard the rest. Jumper goes back to the hand. And then we play Time is Fleeting to get the portal room back. This is a nice base for us because we have a lot of movement, so we can just place some minions there before moving them to another base. So Goblin, Big Hero 6 are going to play Fred and draw a card. After that they play Bushwhacking, flip a coin, and let's see if we can destroy Monster Tornado. It's still, so we will just play Make Your Own Luck to change that into a heads and destroy Monster Tornado. And after that we end our turn. Discard Demolition. Time Traveler Tornadoes are going to play Twister on the deep. He can move a power 3 minion to the base. So then move Fred over. After that, trade wins to swap Blaster and Twister from base. And then they can also play their Titan again and use the Titan to get a power counter. They can use Dust Devil to get a second place on the deep. A very cheap second place, so this looks like the right play. So go to Mago on the deep. Then we play upgrades for 2 power counters. And then we move these 2 minions over to Arundel and play version 2.0. For 4 more power and score the base. So Blaster triggers again. We flip a coin. Tails, so we can move the minion, but we don't want to, because we want to win the base. Let's see if our opponent has any specials. They don't have any they want to play now. So we score the base. But the Blaster gets discarded. And this was of course better than scoring the deep, because then our opponent would just get a very cheap second place. Faceless City comes into play. This is also relevant for Time Travelers, as this base can shuffle their deck. So we'll start off with playing Cyclone on Faceless City to search for our other copy of Cyclone. We move this Cyclone to Portal Room. And then we use Into the Time Slip to return Fred to the hand, just trying to slow down our opponent. Then we draw 2 cards. So Goblin Big Hero 6 plays Fred Fredrickson on Faceless City. On the wrong side again, sorry. We draw a card and we play Magic Helmet. So that even if Tornado Time Travelers move him to the deep, he cannot be destroyed. We discard one copy of Microbot Swarm because they can search for each other anyways. We go back to Tornado Time Travelers. They play Time Raider. And they use Faceless City. There are no more copies in the deck of Time Raider, so they just shuffle their deck. And then they use Time Raider to place Monster Tornado at the bottom of their deck. Then they play It's Astounding to replay Into the Time Slip, and once again return Fred to the hand. We also get rid of Magic Helmet this way. So yeah, we can slow down our opponent a lot. Okay, so we gave up on Fred. We just play Blaster. Play some upgrades on him. We should shuffle our deck. And with our action play, we play New Student to play Honey Lemon with a counter, so we can use the talent to play an extra action. And with that extra action, we play Team Effort to draw 2 cards. And then 2 more to end our turn. Okay, so we will finally play Time Box because we have multiple power 2 minions in hand. And we can use Time Box to play a jumper. And we will use Time Raider to place It's Astounding at the bottom of our deck. And we play Cyclone on Faceless City. We move the other Cyclone over. And we score Faceless City. So for Blaster we flip a coin, it stills, so we can move him to another base, which is what we want. And then we score the base. So I discovered that I was playing everything on the wrong side of the base, see? And then we get a new base, which is Halloween Town. And we go back to Goblin Big Hero 6. They will play Microbot Swarm on Portal Room and also Microbot Maker, trying to give the Microbot Swarm a lot of power counters. Since our deck is almost empty, we will draw Control Mask very soon. And if we draw Control Mask, which we just did, we want to have some Microbot Swarms in play. So Time Traveler Tornadoes are going to play Dust Devil with their Titan, and then Ripped Off to move Microbot Maker to the only base our opponent has no minions. Then with their regular minion play, they play another jumper on Portal Room actually, because they can just use a Dust Devil to guarantee in second place. And they also have enough cards to move the minions from Portal Room to another base. So Goblin Big Hero 6 play Control Mask. I don't think there are any Microbot Swarms left in our deck. No. So with Control Mask we can move our Microbot Swarm to the deep and place a counter on him with the talent. And then with our minion play, we play Chaos Lord and score the base. We know that our opponent can just move a Dust Devil, but we just have to score and win the base to prevent them from winning the base and also the game. And we still have Blaster, which we can move off the base by flipping a coin. It's tails, so we can move Blaster to another base. And the nice thing is that he also keeps Control Mask on him. Yeah, and as you can see, I also moved him to the wrong side of Halloween Town again. I guess I was very confused this game. But apart from that, I think I played well. So the deep is scored. We draw a card and discard a card for Chaos Lord. We discard the Gobbo. And then it's 14 against 14. So whoever wins the next base will win the game, unless the base is Portal Room, of course. So the new base is Secret Volcano Headquarters, and it's the base with the lowest breakpoint, so it's quite likely that this base is going to be scored. Ah, I discovered. Yeah, so we will use Time Box to play a jumper, and then Time Walk to draw 2 cards and play an extra minion and an extra action. You might have noticed that I only drew 1 card at the end of the turn for the Goblin Big Hero 6, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to end the game in this turn. So we play Twister and Monster Tornado, and then with our extra action from Time Walk we play Whirlwinds to move all our minions over. And then we also have an extra action from Time Box to play Carried Away and move Blaster over. And that's enough to score the base. So before the base scores, we can use the base ability. We play a minion if there's one at the top of the deck. And then Blaster can also flip a coin. It doesn't really matter. We could give him 2 more power, but yeah. That's the best they can do. As hero has no on play. Okay. So yeah, the base scores. And the final score is 18 against 17 with Tornado Time Travelers winning the game and going to round 2 where they have to compete against World Champ Cowboys. And in the next game I will be playing Musketeer Werewolves against Beauty and the Beast Explorers. So as always, thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.